Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content I've been dropping, the direction that my channel was headed in. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them. Alright, now, today's topic is actually coming from a homeboy of mine. You know what I mean? We were talking the other day, and he was he was basically highlighting some of the issues that he's noticing with women, and of course, he's a single guy and I'm married. So he still respects my viewpoint on a lot of things because it's not like I'm so far removed from what he has experienced because at one point I was single as well. But the only thing is the dynamic has shifted crazy since I've been in a relationship. I've been with the same woman for like 12 years. So that does make me a little bit new to the whole scene of what he's maybe experiencing. But of course, I can imagine where he's coming from. But what he requested was like, yo, man, I need you to make a video about emotional manipulation. Because apparently that's one of the reasons why he's having trouble finding, let's say, a suitable partner. So I was like, you know what? Next time I get an opportunity, I'll make sure I sit down and hash out some of those things. So today's video, of course, topic is going to be emotional manipulation, not only what it is, but also some of the things that are contained within it, right? So we all know what emotions are, but manipulation is defined as behavior designed to exploit, control, or otherwise influence others to one's advantage. Now, I'm not saying that emotional manipulation is only from women. Of course, men do it too. Like, think about a player. This is a person who is very keen at exploiting a female's emotions while having an ulterior motive, right? He may, for example, know that the woman wants to be in a committed long-term union, i.e., headed towards marriage. In his head, he knows, hey, I'm totally content to be single, play the field, and have different women at my disposal. But emotional manipulation in this case of him being a player will be feeding to the idea that he will marry her someday. Meanwhile, he's having fun, having sex with her, taking her on trips, doing this, doing that. But whenever she's basically back home, thinking about how wonderful he is, he might be telling the same story to a number of different women. Key example, right? But what I noticed too, like when I break down this list, all of these things I have experienced. And that's the reason why I wanted to highlight this for my homeboy who talked about it. So the first thing I'm peeping with emotional manipulation is mind games, right? And we've all experienced it. If you're a dude, of course, women experience it too. You already get it. I already gave that disclaimer, but this channel is more dedicated to dudes, and especially if you're a younger guy. I'm hoping to be a older man that can like drop some game that can help you on your journey. But what the biggest mind game that I peep that women play, I even experienced this in the context of my relationship, is they make you feel bad about your own opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine somebody asking you a question about whatever topic, and then you actually think about it real quick, let it swirl in your mind for a second, and you divulge exactly how you feel about that thing. But now the person starts to challenge you or make you feel wrong about your own opinion about what they just asked you about. That's one mind game that really pisses me off, if I'm just being totally honest. Like, yo, you want me to be honest or not? And then if I'm not honest and I lie and manipulate and do these other things, then I basically get thrown in the same boat as the player that I just mentioned. A dude who's not keeping it real, who's not standing on values and morals and moving with, let's say, a code of conduct. And then, like, I always found that real funny, like the mind games that go on between men and women, And yeah, that's one of the things you're gonna experience. Another one is gonna be shit tests. All right, shit tests. Like, the best way I could define them would be these are verbal little curveballs that get thrown your way so that the woman can best categorize you and put you into a certain little box of dudes that are out there. So, for example, I'm trying to think of a good thing that a woman would say as a shit test. Let's say you starting to date a girl. You guys are in the very beginning stages of getting to know each other, and maybe you say something that she actually feels flattered by. You give her a nice compliment or whatever, and then she says something along the lines of, "Oh, I bet you say that to all the girls." What that's indirectly doing is, first of all, it's confirming that you're an attractive guy, because you wouldn't have, let's say, a little arsenal of things you could say to the woman to make her feel flattered if you didn't have practice talking with other women. But no woman wants to be on a list of girls that you're talking to. They all kind of want to be exclusive. They all want to be the one that turned your head. So she's indirectly giving you a compliment, but it comes in the form of something that, let's say, a shit test, a normal guy would maybe defend himself and be like, nah, because he wants to make the girl feel exclusive. So he might say, nah, I don't say that to a bunch of girls. Like, you're the only girl that I'm talking to. So right there, he just failed that little shit test. The woman can now categorize you as a dude that maybe is boyfriend material or husband material, but maybe the bad boy player or whoever that she thought you were in the beginning, you literally just took yourself out of that category by answering the shit test question in a way that wasn't beneficial to you. You see what I'm saying? So these are, you're gonna always experience these shit tests. I mean, they even happen with dudes too. I don't even need to go down the list. This is human nature we're talking about, but we're of course tailoring it more to dudes and how they deal with women. And by the way, when I'm peeping about shit tests, the best way to respond to that would be sarcasm. Don't take shit tests as something that's real serious. This is usually just a woman throwing you a curveball to see how you react to it, right? So when she throws you, oh, I bet you said that to all the girls. Like, I wouldn't respond with a, no, I don't do. You might be better off just responding with, yeah, yeah, I practice that line all day, and I see it worked on you, so it's probably gonna work on the next chick I talk. You see, like, throw a little sarcasm in there. Don't always be straightforward with your answers. Third example that I see a lot is gonna be gaslighting. All right, gaslighting is something that, dude, I'm married. I can trust me. There's often times that my wife is gaslighting me, and it's gonna be how they basically question you to make you feel like you might be wrong about that. You know what I mean? They say things that make you question your own logic, question your own reason, question your own memory of whatever happened. So you definitely got to watch out for that. Another thing I peep when it comes to emotional manipulation, man, they will twist facts. And what I'm peeping that women like to do is anything that made them feel a certain way, they have a way of exaggerating it or twisting it and manipulating it in a way where you almost look like the worst dude on the planet. Like, Pete, every single female that I've ever seen who had an issue with, let's say, their husband at a certain point, and then let's say they got a divorce, I've never really seen a woman that has taken 100% an accurate analysis on why the relationship failed. It'll always be this dude's fault, and whatever he did will always get, like, the volume will be turned up to the max. All right, another thing that I'm peeping. My bad, I'm looking down at some notes. I didn't want this to be all over the place. Uh, they'll diminish your problems, but then play up theirs. You know what I mean? You'll definitely peep that with an emotional manipulator. Everything that you tell them that affects you, that you feel like really torn about or upset about, it will get minimized and compared to something that they went through. And next thing you know, you'll be over here having a full blown discussion about what bothered them. So you definitely have to watch out for this, because I mean, who really wants to be, let's say, in the context of men and women, who wants to be in a relationship with somebody who's always making your stuff seem like it's not that important, but then playing up theirs? That's gonna be a hard relationship to deal with, bro. All right, they don't take accountability, bro. Keeping it all the way real, I feel like women are kind of notorious for this. They are always the victim. Nothing's their fault. When have you ever seen it? Chick breaks up with her dude. She's talking about it, you know what I mean, about what happened wrong in the relationship and why they didn't make it to the long term. It's always he did this, he said that, he made me feel, he was toxic, he was it'll be even vague terms. You heard how I just threw toxic in there. It'll get thrown out there like this dude was just the most horrible, most deceiving, non-worthy dude of her attention. But they could have been together for like 20 some years. Not once will you hear her break down what she did or what she said or how she hurt him or how she was, let's say, a manipulative, or how she was just maybe an outright bitch to this man. Nope. It'll all be his fault. She's going to always be the victim. All right, another thing you going to peep. Emotional manipulator will always one-up you. All right, and I even talked about in past videos, I can even just throw out a classic example of somebody I knew who always was one-upping people. And like I said in one, in one of my past videos, it was a dude named Cliff. You know what I mean? He used to just one-up people all the time too. Like he would lie about what he had and always make it seem like he knew somebody that had more. So like, let's say for example, it could be a sidebar conversation. We talking about, I don't know, how my cousin just got a new house in Florida. This nigga would just pop up and make it seem like, but his cousin got a mansion in Miami. Like he's that type of dude, you know. And this, of course, way back in the day. But you'll also peep this with an emotional manipulator. They always have that. You got a promotion. They talk about how they just got a better job offer. You made so much money in the stock market. They talking about how, you know, they invested in bonds too, and the bonds are actually making more than you actually made with the stock. It's always some shit like that. You got a nice vacation plan, they already been there, you know what I mean? And they would recommend this and that and this and that. You see, nothing that you say could ever just go by with them saying, "Oh, that's dope," or you get a little bit of credit. No, it always has to be that they did something better. My men out there, especially the ones who married, you might also go through this too. If your wife is emotionally manipulating you, you're gonna receive a lot of criticism. Yep, you did this, you said that. How, you know what I mean? You did this wrong, you did that wrong. Uh, you know, you made me feel like this, you made me feel like that. And usually, what I peep right here with an emotional manipulator when they're always criticizing you for something is that they're projecting their insecurities onto you. So, and it's usually opposites. Like, let's say you're a real confident person, but then let's say your partner or your wife is not confident, then she'll project onto you that you're arrogant. So that's an extreme of confidence, but she'll project onto you that you're arrogant because she knows she's not confident, and maybe grinds her gears that you're confident in places where she is always criticizing herself and playing herself down. So it's like a threat, the fact that you're confident. So she's going to chip away at that by being critical of everything you do to make it seem like you're overstepping your limits. You're too confident. You're now arrogant. You see what I'm saying? Another thing that an emotional manipulator would do is they will highlight your insecurities. Dog, I've experienced this. I know my wife has experienced this. Anybody that I know who's actually kind of doing well for themselves, they've experienced this in some way, shape, or form. Here we go. Let's say it's a chick. She hasn't done no Botox. She hasn't done any surgeries, no tattoos, nothing. She's just a pretty woman. Her friends will never compliment how nice she looks, but they'll notice the one time where her hair is maybe not swooping the way it normally does, and they'll say, "Hey, what's going on with your hair? Why does it look so dry?" You know? I seen people, you know, look at me like I'm 37 years old, working out, doing this, doing that, but then they'll highlight one of my flaws, like my scar. What happened? Yeah, it looks kind of, looks weird. Like, I always got something to say. Or When I was slim, when I was like more skinny, now I'm like almost 200. I'm like 197 right now. And of course, it's all about just staying trained and staying to my own standard. I'm not trying to fit nobody else's description of what they think I should be. But I remember back in the day, oh man, you skinny, man. You too skinny, man. You need to work out. You need to do this. You need to do that. Or calling me like pretty boy. Oh man, you always in the mirror, man. You always flossing your teeth, and who you trying to impress? You know. Even now, you know what I'm saying. You see some videos I have the full beard. Some days I trim it down. A day like today, I didn't want no beard. This whole week, I said, you know what? For 2 weeks, I'm just gonna go straight clean face. Give my face a change, right? It'll be somebody watching the video trying to clown. It'll be when I walk outside, man, what happened to your beard? That's an indirect. What happened to your beard? Like, what the fuck do you think happened? Oh, I took it off. I put it in my back pocket. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put it back on tomorrow. Nigga, I shaved it. Of course, I took it off. Like, but it'll be somebody trying to play on that because that's their way to highlight your insecurities to make you feel like, oh shit, like now you need to do a double take. But that's an emotional manipulation tactic. All right, use your feelings against you. That kind of goes with my first point about like the mind games that I just used. But you know what I mean? You upset about something, but then they're upset that you're upset. How does that work? How does that work? How are you upset because I'm upset? Like, what the fuck? So that means I need to tone down my emotions that are naturally raging up inside of me right now just so you feel better. Guilt trips or ultimatums, bro. Everybody's been there. Any straight dude right now who's watching this video, if you've been with a woman, whether you were dating or in a relationship, tell me she didn't try to guilt trip you or give you an ultimatum at some point. Bro, you done been there. You done been there. Another thing is they'll be passive aggressive, bro. I mean, I kind of understand it when I really think about it. I kind of understand why a woman would be passive aggressive. I mean, it makes sense. If we're the stronger, more dominant sex, that's not to say women are weak, but they have other tactics and characteristics that we have not developed to ever surpass their natural ability. Like I said, a woman could be a bodybuilder, but there's still going to be male bodybuilders that are just way stronger than her. You know what I mean? If you look at the average woman on the street and then point out the average dude across the street and bring them together, that average dude is probably stronger than that average woman. So we can both agree. But when I think about what women have as natural things that they can use to their advantage to kind of account for that imbalance with physical strength and stuff, they have like cunning. You know, and I feel like they really have mastered aspects of passive aggressiveness that we'll never ever get. How many times have you asked your woman, hey, what's wrong? She told you nothing, but then was silent the whole day. Or, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay. But then inside the kitchen, you hear her slamming every single cabinet. That's designed to make you go, hey, are you sure? To make you do a double take, to now try to follow behind her and see what's really bothering her. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. You could be indirect and vague when you're being passive aggressive. Typical sign of an emotional manipulator. All right. And probably one of the biggest ones that I know everybody's seen it. I'm not saying only women do it. I'm just, y'all already heard me give the disclaimer. They will say or do something, but then deny it. Bro, I could bring it up to one chick that I even talked to way back in the past. So I took her to a family function. My aunt was over having a barbecue at her house. I had a bunch of my cousins there, and then one of my cousins, he had some of his friends there. So we all around the same age. I brought a chick that honestly I was not really serious with. I was just kind of kicking it with her because I was home from a deployment, and I wanted to just kick it with her, see what she was about. So this was like my test phase where I was going to determine, am I even going to talk to you, or am I ultimately going to throw you in a certain category of female and kind of write you off? This was a good test. I pick her up, took her over to my cousin's house, or my aunt's house. My cousin's friend was over there. I know he was checking old girl out. So, you know me, I'm we're in a non-committal situation. You know what I mean? I haven't really even dated this girl before. This is one of the first times that we actually meeting up. So for me, it's just a good test to sit back and just look left and right and analyze how far is this gonna go. So you got my cousin's friend who is clearly trying to get the attention of the girl. So of course I'm looking at the girl. And then I see her flirting back, looking, and then they're both looking at me kind of like the eye contact is saying, "Oh snap!" Like he might be looking. And what I did is I just got into a spades game. I just got into a spades game and just totally let all that happen in my peripheral. While that shit was happening, I was just making a mental note of how far I went. Up, physical contact. Dude touched on her. Up, this happened. Up. So eventually, you know what I mean, I just went over there and was just real cool. Like, and immediately when I went over there, the friend, you know what I mean, fell back. Hey, what's going on, bro? Like, try to get all cool with me. Oh, what's up, man? And then he took his ass on. So I just looked at her and I was like, you ready to go? So she was like, oh, yeah. We driving back. So she like, oh, man, it was cool over there. Da, 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 da. I was like, yeah. I seen you must have had a real good conversation with old dude. You know what I mean? Seems like you was flirting around the whole night and shit. What? I wasn't flirting. I didn't say. I was like, so what about when you was, you know what I mean, over there doing this and doing that? No, that didn't happen. Like, you was playing spades. You didn't see what happened. I'm like, that's a typical type of stuff you gonna see from somebody who trying to emotionally manipulate you. That's also a form of gaslighting right there. I clearly saw what y'all was doing. I clearly saw that there was physical contact. But you want to try to make it seem like I'm maybe insecure or, oh, no, I'm tripping. No. Needless to say, I never talked to that girl again. Because who the fuck wants to have a person like that on their side? Where when you point that out, then they going to be over here falling back and making it seem like you nuts. You know what I mean? So these are all the things that I just peep when it comes down to emotional manipulation. Of course, there are many other things that could be added onto that list. But, you know, I don't want to go too far on my time limit. And I don't even have to really beat a dead horse. I mean, I feel like all of us have gone through many of the steps that I have laid out here, if not many other things. So if y'all feel like y'all want to jump in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. I'll holler at y'all on the next one.